Every console player have to bow their head on the fact that PC is way better graphic wise and gameplay wise. I wouldn't say gameplay wise. Gameplay wise, it doesn't change at all. Graphic wise, yeah, it'll change a lot. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, if I was able to play Halo 3 back then on the 360, you know, no, I'm not. I mean, 120 frames plus, like, sure, like whatever. But I can play in 60. I can play 30 frames. Like, no, I mean, he mentioned Bloodborne. Like, that thing is locked at what, like 30 frames, and it's still a great game, and it's on the PS4. Like, I don't think it matters. Like, yeah, it'll be better gameplay, but after 60 frames, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, like having it, I get used to it. Like now, if I were to go back to 60 hertz, it's gonna look slow, but my brain is gonna adjust to it after like 2 days. You know, like we don't need it. It's not a big deal. You know, like it's not. You know, if the gameplay is fun, I'd rather prefer gameplay over graphics. You know, in that case, I guess like when I say gameplay, I mean just like 60 frames. The gameplay is fun. You know, I prefer that over the game. Like over, I can see my, reflection in the water. You know, yeah, fair enough. Depends on the game. I don't even think it really depends on the game either. Like, would Dark Souls be a better game if it looked like freaking Call of Duty? Probably, but it wouldn't change the gameplay or anything. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, we were able to play Call of Duty back then on shitty graphics, but it didn't really matter. Like now we have standards, so sure. But there's a certain I should rephrase it. Hold on, cause I need to freaking extend this so I can see the chat better. There. One of the worst things about consoles is not being able to play older gen games. Xbox begs to differ. Xbox, you can play all the 360 games. PlayStation is really stupid with its backwards compatibility. But Xbox is really nice with it. You can play all the 360, even the Xbox games on the Xbox One. So that doesn't really apply to Xbox. Multiplayer FPS is a big deal with high FPS. I mean, not really. Like, you can have someone who plays on 60 FPS. I mean, there's console. Here's an example. There's Fortnite console players who are better than some PC players, and they're like playing on 60 FPS. I don't think it really makes a huge difference. It has the potential to make a huge difference, but I don't think it's gonna matter. Like, I play on 120 FPS on Call of Duty, but I'm not a master player, you know. Gameplay over graphics. Exactly. I'd rather prefer gameplay over graphics. You can't even get PS3 games. Yeah, but Sony is very stupid with the way they play. Like I don't get Sony at all. Xbox makes it so easy. I can just get a random 360 game, put it on my Xbox One, and play it. But on PlayStation, it's so stupid. I don't get it. Like, I don't get why they're so complicated. But yeah, I prefer gameplay over graphics, and I can stay at 60 frames my whole life. It won't make a difference. But I wanted to say there is like this is a standard that we need to stand by. Whereas like if a game looks a little too shitty, then sure. If it plays a little too shitty, sure. You know, like there's like, I feel like a good standard for graphics is probably like, because graphics hasn't improved like a lot over the years. Like Black Ops 3 still looks pretty nice. Black Ops 2 still looks pretty nice. That came out like in 2013. You know? So, like, some games that came out in 2013 still look good. So it really just depends, like, how ugly it is, you know? Like, I don't care if I don't see my reflection in the water. You know, that's not a big deal to me. That's like 60-70%. Wait, what? That's like 60 to 70% of potential of big deal, yeah. But yes, it depends if you're good or not. I mean, even then, I don't think it's a big deal, personally. Like, you can still be good and not be held back by 60 frames. Like, it doesn't matter how many frames you have. One, some people can't even see the difference. Some people are playing 120 frames and they have a 60 hertz monitor. Like, and they don't even know. And they think, like, I believe some of it's like a placebo effect that they think is making them better. But it's not. Like I really personally I don't think it's a huge deal. Frames, 60 sure, 60 is a standard, but above it doesn't matter. Have you tried? Yeah, I play 120 FPS on a lot of games. Like I said earlier, like if I were to like I've been playing 120 hertz for like a year now. If I go back to 60 hertz, it looks slower, but I don't think I'm gonna play worse if I'm playing on 60 FPS. You know, like if I go back to 60, I'm not gonna play worse because it's not faster. You know, have you cranked the game back to 60 again? I mean, Dark Souls is locked to 60 FPS, so it's not like, you know, a big deal to me. Game graphics have kind of yeah, exactly. That's what I'm. That's you put it into like terms. Yeah, that's the perfect word for it. They kind of went up, and they're just like this for now. The graphics, you know, they're not really improving like they used to, and it's not a big deal. I mean FPS like first person shooters. Yeah, I've played first person shooters on 120 and went back, and like yeah, it's gonna look slower. But like, how do I put this into words? I used to play Call of Duty on my Xbox all the time, and this is not like a flex, but like I used to do good. You know, I used to do good playing Halo in 60 FPS. You know, if I were to go back to 60 FPS, I would still play good. Like, you know, I would have to adjust to the 60 FPS, but I don't need 120. I don't think it's gonna make you better. It's gonna make you better probably by like 10%. You know, I don't think it's a huge deal. I feel like people overhype the difference that frame rate makes. But I don't think 10% is still 10%. So you know what? You're not wrong. It makes you better by 10%. So yeah, but like I don't think it matters. People worry about the wrong things when it comes to games. You know, I just care about the game if the game is fun, that's it. I think the beauty of the game is what people hype, isn't it? But that depends on what you define as beauty. Some people prefer graphics, which, you know, sure. Um, but a beauty for me is just, you know, the story of the game, the music of the game. Like some people focus on the wrong things, you know? Some people like music in video games is so underrated. People don't appreciate music as much in video games. They really don't. Like people what's the word? I mean, I guess overhype graphics. Yeah, music is a major factor. Major factor. Like art style, you know, design of stuff. Like, I think the beauty of the oh wait, I already read that. Honestly, I still prefer games like RE2 remake in 30 FPS to 60 FPS. That's fair. You know, there's some people who played 3 remake, but they prefer the original. You know why? Because 3 remake took off content. People prefer the content that was in 3 over the enhanced graphics. You know, they took out the beauty of the game, you know? Like quote unquote beauty. So like what people felt was beautiful of 3 back then, they removed in the remake. So I don't know. Honestly, I already read that. It made the game more cinematic. Wait, what made it more cinematic? The music or the graphics? From Software has never failed. No, exactly. They never fail with soundtracks, and that's the main reason why this like boss fights are so like good in this game. Like I didn't used to appreciate it when I first played Souls games, but recently I've been like listening to the music, and it's a huge difference. Like yeah, they arrested a whole band for it. Yeah, like the 60 FPS. I mean, I guess like if it's 60, sure, but like I said, 60 is the standard. If something's below that, then yeah, it looks kind of choppy. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here. Uh, I don't mind if you guys tell me where I'm supposed to go from here because I'm kind of lost. I just been talking. I don't mind talking though. I like talking about game stuff. I like seeing other people's like point of views and stuff.